As long as the internet and YouTube has existed, there have been many controversies and conflicts through creators. But throughout all of those, none have been more chaotic and insane, as the case of Chris Chan.
I'm playing guitar.
It's not bad. Christmas from your Uncle Gubsy. My Uncle Gubsy says, "Merry Christmas, Tom." Gub 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 gub. My art speaks for me. Now let's look at some more. Here's a one-pager I'm sure you'll remember. Bad. Bad. Leroy Brown. Here's another one. And that corner tab came from an original only for GameCube title that was originally a GameCube title, but then later expanded to other consoles.
In the early 2000s, Chris began posting online content, comics, videos, and personal updates. The most infamous of these was Sonichu, a homemade comic blending Sonic and Pikachu. At first, it was just another example of early internet amateur creativity, but unlike most obscure content that disappears, this one didn't. It got attention, and once it got attention, it became permanent. Not because it was good by any means. I mean, some people out there might like it, but I'm fairly sure a majority of people would be very confused by what they just were looking at. As forums and message boards picked up on the content, Chris became a long-term fixation of online communities. What started as commentary quickly shifted into something else. Targeted trolling, impersonation, long-running manipulation campaigns. Over time, Chris became one of the most heavily documented individuals on the early internet. Not famous in a traditional sense, but constantly observed, discussed, and archived. The situation escalated into a cycle. Online communities would provoke reactions, those reactions would be recorded, those recordings would attract more attention, which brought more trolling. It became self-sustaining, and at no point did the system really stop to reset. Instead, it just kept building layers of reactions on top of reactions. What you end up with is not a single narrative, but a fragmented timeline shaped by thousands of participants. Over time, the situation stopped being purely online. There were real-world incidents, escalating instability, and increased public exposure, personal behavior, and private life. This is also where the story crosses a hard line. In 2021, Chris was arrested on charges related to incest with his mother.
Yeah, they're arresting Chris Chan here at the hotel. Chris Chan, what's up? Kill stream, baby!
One of the most controversial parts of the story isn't just the individual actions. It's the scale of external involvement. For years, online communities documented every development, amplified reactions, and actively engaged in shaping scenarios around the subject. Even when things became increasingly unstable, the intention never really stopped. And that raises a difficult question. At what point does obsession stop being passive and start becoming part of the problem? Also, just to clarify right now, I am not I'm not sympathizing with Chris Chan. I think the dude has done some pretty bad things, and it's really weird. The reason this case still comes up isn't just because of shock value. It's because it shows a side of internet culture people don't like confronting. How quickly someone can become a permanent subject online, and how once that happens, the cycle becomes almost impossible to break. Attention doesn't fade, it compounds. The Chris Chan saga isn't just a story about one person. It's a case study in what happens when internet obsession, lack of boundaries, and real world consequences all collide over a long enough timeline. And by the time it ended in the legal system, it had already been years too far gone. So yeah, that was the breakdown of Chris Chan. I know that that wasn't very entertaining, but I wanted to talk about it because it's something that I've really wanted to talk about for a while, and I might not have exactly talked about it the right way or said the right things that I should have, but a deeper breakdown will be in the works, and yeah, be looking for that in the future. As always, guys, thank you for watching, and stay safe.